Unraveling the layers of gender today, we will see how deep-seated norms and power dynamics shape our history. Joanne W. Scott is a famous historian who looks at history through the lens of feminist theory. Influenced by thinker Michel Foucault, she believes that personal stories alone don't fully capture women's realities and challenge us to think deeper about historical contexts. Sociology, for the most part, is fight for team nurture in the nature versus nurture debate. Naturally, Joanne argues that gender in itself is a social construct. Instead of analyzing gender categorically, she decides to wear a gender colored lens and examine the factors that contribute to the cause. Key aspects of gender, Scott highlights four major areas to consider. Normative concepts, these are society's rules about how men and women should behave. Subjective identity, this is how we see and understand our own gender. Social institutions, places like school and workplace that reinforce gender roles. Symbols and representation, how media and culture show and shape our views on gender. Patriarchal theory looks at how societies are structured to keep men in control, but it overemphasized male dominance and patriarchy without accounting for cultural and social variation. Marxist feminism connects gender inequality with economic issues, but it prioritizes economic factors over gender power dynamics. Psychoanalytic theory examines how our early family life shapes our understanding of gender, but it focuses narrowly on early childhood physiological theories for gender development. Feminists brought the term gender into the spotlight to challenge traditional views of intergender relationships, emphasizing that these roles go beyond simple biology to reflect deeper social influences. Until the late 20th century, discussions on gender were notably absent from major social theories. By advocating for gender as a key concept, feminists aim to demonstrate that the role of both men and women are intricately linked and defined by each other, deeply rooted within and influenced by historical events and societal norms. Drawing on diverse perspective, we conducted 5 interviews with individuals varying in gender, age, and profession. Each participant was asked the same 3 open-ended questions, allowing us to explore a diverse perspective as to understand the extent of influence of gender for the common man. Question was, have you ever felt like you were treated differently being a man or woman? To which we got the following responses.
The science might not be very explicit, but ये कोई लड़की डिनाई नहीं करेगी that at certain stages in life कभी ना कभी minor चीज़ों से differently feel हुआ है. They can be like इतनी छोटी as for example अगर आप अपने भाई के साथ बैठे हो and you're supposed to heat up your food and वो कभी नहीं करेगा आपके लिए. They can be as tiny as that, but things like these pile up eventually and feel होता है.
Yes, I think in terms of career choices, wanted to be a lawyer growing up, and I was advised to have a look at the courts in Pakistan. And when I did, I realized had I been a man, I could have done this. So the opportunity for a career was limited on this. But I think that could be said about any woman anywhere in the world. At times I felt like it was a privilege as well, because a lot of times you're asked to go to the front of the line. You don't have to wait in line. Or, somebody's going to hold the door open for you. Or then, they're going to offer you a seat.
I've been working in banking industry for more than 25 years now. As far as I think, perhaps in our society, in our setting, the arrangement is such that the other gender is being treated a little differently, and especially in certain settings, at certain situations, as being man, I can see that the other gender is being treated perhaps a little more softly, not that objectively, so that one can say that on the basis of gender you have a bit of disadvantage.
Most probably because I am the only son in my family, so there are certain things that people expect from me that they do not expect from my sisters. Like I don't think इतनी gender equality है अभी हमारे family traditions में. Like they expect me to work as well while I am a student. So I would say that there are differences while being a man.
So of course, Pakistan में being a male आपको काफ़ी advantages होती हैं. For example, you get more time and opportunity to socialize outside of maybe normal hours. So for example, it's completely alright अगर आप late घर आ रहे हो, or then again 3 or 4 males hanging out, or more secure in the way कि मतलब they're not going to be afraid of being assaulted or something. They're walking down the road versus maybe 3 or 4 females, which is unfortunate of course. लेकिन इस तरह की सारी चीज़ें हैं जिनमें आपको एज अ मेल काफ़ी ज़्यादा एडवांटेज मिलती है. तो देन अगेन बीइंग फ्रॉम से कमिंग फ्रॉम अ बिट ऑफ प्रिविलेज, थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है टू कंप्लीटली रियलाइज द एडवांटेजेस दैट यू हैव सिंस यू स्टार्ट टेकिंग थिंग्स फॉर ग्रांटेड ऑफ कोर्स. तो ये है.
The second question was, do you feel supported by your family or society in the job that you do?
Sure, yes, by my family 100%, but as a society, I'm not sure. Because completely the thing is, at one point, society के लिए it all comes down to marriage. If you haven't ticked off that box by the time you're 28, yet by the time you're 30, society won't let you live. Even if you have a PhD in your hand या फिर बहुत अच्छी job पे भी हो, if you haven't ticked off the marriage box, society won't let you live, I feel.
I do feel supported by my family, and I think that's one of the reasons that I've been able to get wherever I am at the moment in my career. I've always been told that it doesn't, you go for what you want to do. If you put your mind to something, take it one step at a time and get there. In terms of society, I don't really think it figured much into my decision making. I usually did what I wanted to do, and I think my family has a lot to do with that. They would, like, if I say, should I do this or that, they're like, do whatever you want, I think that's played a huge role in shaping the way that I am.
As a society, yes, it's a kind of mixed plate. Since I work in a bank, so most of the negative I would say I receive from the society as a generic thing is people say that you work in industry where there is soothe interest, which is not allowed, prohibited. Not many people really understand how the economy works, what's the difference between riba and interest, and so on, and people passing on the judgments based on this.
I would say yes, because my family is really supportive for my education, and I'm also working side by side. वो दोनों चीज़ें बहुत अच्छा साथ लेके जा रहे हैं, like they give me full opportunities to perform in the university as well as my work in the office. So I would say that society and my family is really supportive of what I'm doing right now.
It is much easier for me to work since इस तरह होता है कि generally there's certain gender roles जो आपको कोई explicitly बताए या ना बताए they're implied in a way कि men are subject to be the breadwinners of the house. तो उसमें ये होता है कि फिर you of course get the support that you require to perform your job, your work effectively. You're not required to stay home and look after kids or something of that sort.
Finally, we asked them, how do you think society has changed over time in terms of gender differences in Pakistan?
To be honest, there's like a drastic gap, I feel. Because the thing is, I have a sister, we have an age gap of 7 years, and there are certain things that I do that she would never be able to do. And there are certain things that I speak explicitly and openly about, and she would never. Both in the way the way the society perceives it, and even my family. I feel everything has changed drastically within the period of 7 years.
With what socioeconomic status you belong to. In terms of gender differences, I feel like there has been a shift overall as well, and that shift would be in terms of traditional gender roles. Whereas women previously were expected to take care of the home, or if you're getting married, and that's your role, cooking, cleaning, or managing everything, and the man goes out to work. And now I feel like there's been that shift where men and women are both you need a two-people income, especially with economic crisis. You need more than one person earning in the household, so there's more independence when it comes to financial security, and so both of them, the gender traditions of the man is contributing more at home as well, and helping with raising children, more interactive with the children as opposed to like previously it used to be the mother's role, and I feel like that's a huge shift.
Yes, biases exist करते हैं, job suitability के questions arise होते हैं. At times women have certain circumstances, and yes, people do take into consideration कि इनकी availability के issues क्या होंगे, इनकी जो personal life से related young married women की जो personal life के for example issues होते हैं, how they would impact their availability and their ability to perform for the role which they be hired.
I believe that present society is really supportive of gender equality. Like the women are getting really good opportunities nowadays. Like मेरे family में बहुत से examples हैं कि job opportunities बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. The females in my families now are earning a lot, probably more than some of the males in my family. So I believe the society and my family is really supportive of gender equality, and the difference is getting less day by day.
Education opportunities have gotten way better. There's a wide horizon of higher education that people can now get. So there's more opportunities as well now, and especially with COVID, there's the working from home thing that's so especially advantageous to women since they can look after their domestic responsibilities along with working. और तो basically जो social responsibilities डालती हैं families and society वो भी आप पूरी कर लेते हो, काम भी कर लेते हो, और workplaces have become more inclusive. People generally understand how to communicate with women professionally or.
Scott emphasizes that gender is a crucial concept for examining social hierarchies, identity development, and power relationships. She encourages historians to use it as a perspective to challenge and expand conventional historical narratives.